Okay, so as we can see here, there's a little bit of a mess. Long story short, I don't know if this camera is going to be sticking around. I had gotten a 7 Artisans EF to Sony E mount adapter. And I was going to use that to use all of my lens on this camera with autofocus and all that. But the two do not seem to want to cooperate. The only lens it will autofocus with is this Sigma 10 to 20. Other than that, the rest of the lenses will not autofocus at all. Most of the time what happens with them is it'll get stuck doing this in this range. Typically it'll just be stuck here, let's put this in. Okay. Typically it'll be stuck here and just kind of move back and forth and it won't do anything. If I try to put it in manual focus, put it in a spot that's, mostly in focus, right? Okay. And then I put it back in autofocus and let it try to, fine tune it. Sometimes it'll, do the fine tuning. Other times it'll just go right back over to there. And long story short, if it won't autofocus with most of my lenses, what's the point of having this camera? Because I'm not gonna start getting Sony lenses. It's as simple as that. I'd rather sell this and get like an M50 or something like that. And I could go back to using the 3D printed adapter, because see, here's the thing. With this lens adapter and in manual focus mode, right? Okay. When I touch the zoom ring or the focus ring, it turns on the zoom, the digital zoom on the camera with some lenses. And that's just no good. That's just not gonna work, because then I can't see what's going on. And then, I don't know. I from the research I had done, this whole process was supposed to be smooth, right? You have a Sony E mount mirrorless camera, right? Okay, and I understand that this camera, from what I understand, is basically leftover bodies with a mirrorless system shoved into it, right? Okay, but I've seen what this camera can do. It's capable of some decent pictures, like really. And I wanted to test that out for myself, and I wanted to use it and give it a proper review. But if it's not adaptable and it won't work with my Canon lenses, then there's no point in me having it. And I've taken some okay pictures with this camera, but see, the thing is, the screen and viewfinder projection is so low res that I can't quite tell what is and is not in focus. So I have to kind of take 4 pictures with each picture adjusting the focal ring each time, just in the hopes that one of them will be in, perfect focus. And yeah, I don't know. I do not know. And yes, I've updated the firmware in the adapter. I've tried using this button. I can't tell if changing the modes is working or not, or if I'm even doing it right, because there's no difference between them. Like I said, this lens does focus. It's slow, and I think that's just because the focus on the camera is typically slow, but yeah, I don't know. I can't take the kind of photos I want on this camera with the 10 to 20. It's not gonna work. And I have tried every single one of my EF lenses. They all do the same thing except for this one, pretty much. So yeah, I don't know. If any of y'all have any suggestions or comments or whatever, go ahead and link them below. Or go ahead and send them below. I'll try to respond to every comment. But for the moment, at the moment, it's looking like the camera and the adapter are gonna get resold. 'Cause, yeah. I don't know. It's not looking good, but let me know what you guys think. Let me know if y'all have any suggestions, and we will see you in the next one. Have a good one.